Hi there, this is Elena with Black Sheep 303 Creative, and my project today is using my latest obsession for making quick but beautiful cards, Gina K Designs Foil Mates and Fancy Foils. So I'm starting off with the Foil Mates Holiday Cheer set, which comes with 6 different designs, and you get several sheets of each that you can die cut out or trim down to use on your cards. And then I'm also using the Polka Party background. So there's 2 different polka dot sets, and I'm using the wider spaced one because it works well with the polka dots on, or really the holly berries on that little greeting there. And then the foil I'll be using is Radiant Red, which is very sparkly. So what happens with this is that the black on those panels is toner. So when you run them through your laminator or foiling machine with the foil on top of it, the color of the foil transfers to the toner and is sealed onto that paper. So I have a mink machine, and I got these little plastic sort of sheet protectors that came with the machine. So I'm running those through along with a piece of cardstock for a shim, and then the design, and then the foil fancy side up. So the color is on top of the design, facing down, and I'm running these through the mink, set on about a setting of 3, and I let it heat up for not too long, maybe 5 minutes. And then once it's run through, I peel off the foil, and there you can see, like on the polka dot one, how the red has transferred to the dots. And in a second here, we'll have the greeting. Now I have discovered through trial and error that it is you really need to let this cool a little bit. So it's cool to the touch before you peel it off. If you peel it too quickly, like if it's still hot, it doesn't transfer as well. So just bear that in mind. And then my last accent came from the Ornamental Holiday Backgrounds Foil Mates set, which is this diagonal stripe that I cut to about 1.5 inches wide by 6 inches long, and ran that through as well, again with the Radiant Red foil. And obviously this hasn't sped up quite a bit. Like if you have a mink machine, you know it takes quite a bit longer to run through than this, but I didn't want to bore you by having you watch that run through in real time. Now I wanted to try this trick with a quickie glue pen that I've seen other people do to turn this into a 2-tone foiled greeting. So I'm taking my quickie glue pen and I'm going over all the dots on the holly and then the star in the top of the design, and now I've pressed it down onto this gold sequin foil. Not too hard, like you don't have to rub it too hard, just press it in place real well, and then I peeled it off, and obviously the gold has transferred where the quickie glue is. Now I did have some areas where my glue kind of spread, and so the gold was more than just a dot. So I took the really fine point of my scissors and very carefully scraped off the excess, and it comes off no problem at all. And as long as you are fairly light-handed with it, it doesn't damage the red part of the foil. I think because that's bonded more tightly, it's bonded better to the cardstock because it's on the toner. So that's kind of a fun trick. And now I've got an A2 size top folding card base and a piece of Gina K Designs black Onyx paper cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 that fits on top of that. My Polka Party panel has been cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. There's my red diagonal stripe panel, and then I have 2 pieces of black and white gingham ribbon that I've cut to, I don't know, probably about 6 inches long to go on either side of my diagonal stripe. This piece of black Onyx paper has been die cut out using the Elizabeth Craft Designs stitched circles dies. I know Gina K also has some dies that do this nicely as well. And then I also, there's my greeting that I had die cut out originally with a circle die. And then this is a double bow that I created with that same gingham ribbon. Now Gina K has a great video on how to make that double bow that I will link to at the very end if you're interested in learning more about that. And so now I'm just using my ATG gun to adhere everything down. So the black went down first over the front of the card base. Now the polka paper is going on top of that in the middle. Then I will put my diagonal striped panel right across the center of that and trim off the excess. So super easy. This could all be assembly lined with, in a breeze basically. And now I'm using some 3mm Elizabeth Craft Designs double-sided adhesive tape for the ribbon, and this worked great. So I stuck it down to one side, then I'm peeling off the backing, and then I'm sticking it along the side of the diagonal stripe and just making sure I get it straight. And then I'm going to trim off the sides, and that tape does an amazing job of sort of sealing up the ends and keeping it from fraying, as well as holding it in place really, really nicely. So I was happy about that. And once I trim off the sides of the ribbon, I will then be adhering my circular panels down into the center of that using my ATG gun. And then the last step will be to adhere the bow in place at the bottom. And I'm going to use a glue dot for that. So the glue dots are kind of big, but I take my scissors and I kind of wad it up into more of like a line, as you'll see here in a second. And I'm just going to stick that onto the back of the middle of the bow. So here I'm just kind of wadding it up, and then I'll stick it on the back, and then I'm going to just press it in place at the bottom and adjust the loops a little bit here and there. And that is the completed project. And you can see like how quick and easy that was. I mean, the hardest part was probably making the bow and then maybe doing the two-tone on the glitter, but that was pretty easy, like not tough at all. And so there you can see, I think it's a really pretty card, really nice for not a lot of effort. You can see how fun that foil is in the photos. And again, you could easily assembly line it, and there are 6 different greetings in that set, so you could make different ones. They wouldn't have to all be the same. So thanks so much for watching. Supplies are linked in the video description and over on my blog. Here is that bow making video I mentioned, as well as another project I did using the foil mates a couple weeks ago. So you can click on either of those if you're interested. You can also follow me on Instagram at blacksheep303. Thanks so much, and I hope you have an amazing day.